Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat on the way in. Oh man, this was a pretty okay broadcast from Mr. Jason Black. Um, so first, we are going to be covering Jason Black's channel, on his the business channel, um, and what he spoke about. Women must outwork men, right? So that's the thumbnail, and it's his. Let me make sure I tell you the right title, and it's studies show women now being required to outwork men, right? So that's the title, and we're gonna go over a couple of points. I'm gonna actually go through some points first, and then we are going to emphasize them later. So first, we want to shout out to Indigo Flow. Indigo Flow, the title is because of you, right? So Indigo Flow, who says in my comment section often, um, congratulations, use a provider now, boo. And yeah, so congratulations, use a provider now, boo, right? So we're gonna poke a little fun, but to be frank with you, I said it before. The final boss isn't women. It's not even black women. The final boss isn't women, y'all. Final boss is the same final boss that Chris Tucker told y'all on Rush Hour. What that was, Rush Hour 1 or Rush Hour 2, right? It's the same final boss, right? So you follow the money and you know where it's gonna lead you. It ain't black women, right? So I'll get into that a little bit later. So first things first. Need I remind everyone that this is the cost of listening to the feminist and the level up women over the past 50, 60 years. I know the term hasn't been always level up. That's more of a recent internet and social media term that a lot of the young women are using. But yes, right? So the feminists are telling you, this is to the ladies, black women in particular, the feminists are telling you, you don't need a man. A man is not a plan, a man is a companion. Shout out to Fannie Willis, right? While the level up women are telling you, what's the incentive if he's not well off financially? A combination of those narratives, a feminist narrative and a very capitalist narrative. Now, will you look at that? Puts you, women, in these positions, right? This is where we end up. I see this, Mr. Z sees this as the elites waging class warfare, right? And some middle class women, definitely many working class women, definitely many working poor women, and obviously poor women that are willing to go along with this to spite men. And unfortunately, this is the outcome and the cost, right? Remember, the same middle class and upper middle class women who sell you on this feminist crap are usually married with children in wedlock, right? This is to women in general in America, but particularly black women, right? Something that Jason Black said, which Mr. Z agrees with, and for all of you who've been my longtime subscribers know Mr. Z is a automobile enthusiast, a car head, a car guy, and when Jason Black spoke of men are willing to die to get that car, yeah, that's me. That's me, right? And Jason is correct. It is a trophy. The Z is a trophy. When I drive it, I get congratulated, I get complimented, I have whole conversations with random people, random white men, white women, right? Certain black people from the islands of the Caribbean. A couple of ADOS people actually notice the car and they're like, oh yeah, I remember that from the 90s. Um, you know, Latinos, obviously, right? He is right. It's a trophy. And it is a symbol of whether you are accomplishing your goals or not. So yes, it's a car, but it's not simply a car, right? Same thing with the M. The M is a trophy. People think it's newer than it actually is. People think I spent more than I actually did, right? I did not spend new car prices. I didn't even spend secondhand used car price on that car, right? But Jason is correct. It is a trophy. it is a symbol of how far I've come over the past decade or so, right? Now, getting to the good stuff, the numbers. You know, labor participation is slowly dropping off for men, as Jason Black said, while it has skyrocketed for women. Labor force participation, let's say that again, labor force participation for men has decreased 4.4% over the past 50 years to what it is now, which is 89%, while women's has increased from 58% to essentially 78%, right? It was 77.8%. We're just going to round up and say 78%, which flies in the face of all of those women, black women, who speak about white women not needing to work and how it's not fair, right? And white women aren't told to settle. Why aren't black women always told to settle? Well, are you sure you know what you're talking about? Right? I agree with Jason Black that you're going to have to outwork men for the lifestyle and the nice things you want. Dear women, if you're going to continue to put the bar higher and higher, and the men are like, yeah, I'm not going to do that, right? Or at least the majority of men, an increasing amount of men. That means you're going to have to work for you and that missing man to afford those nice things. And remember, it's still not all men. You're still competing against the elite man and his wife. I didn't say woman, I said wife because he's married. Huh? They don't set the price of Benzes at what you can afford. They set the prices of Benzes at what he can afford. You know, that elite man that you're still waiting in line for, but right now he's married, you know, to the white woman. Oops. Right? Jason Black is correct. For the most part, compared to women, men are minimalist. Right? We see all of these stories about how women are outpacing men in buying homes. Why would a man buy a home without a family? Just to buy it? Right. As an investment, right? As a quote unquote investment, where he's going to scrounge around 25, 30, 40, $50,000 for a down payment on the home as an investment, paying the mortgage faithfully for the next 30 some odd years with no family as an investment. Okay. Right. Now, obviously, Jason being Jason gets real close. Not even real close. He just went right over the line on the Darwinism talk. Right. And I say that to say, Jason, just come out and say it. We need to be pro-polygamy in this society, and elite men need to officially let working class and poor men die out, right? Working class and poor women need to just let working class and poor men die out as we practice polygamy in this society, and those women could be married to, you know, upper middle class men, you know, 6, 7 deep, right? We just need to make polygamy legal in the US. Y'all have heard Mr. Z say this over and over again. The way the women are speaking, particularly black women, the way well-off black men are speaking, we right there with the financial Darwinism, and we right there with the polygamy. Y'all might as well just actually say it though. Like y'all walking around it, y'all circling around it, but like very few of you, like none of you, like actually just outright just say it. Look, I got money. All the women need to be over here. Let the poor and working class men, let them die out. Passport OG, you see what I'm saying? And Passport OG says, polygamy, guns, and drugs. What could possibly go wrong? Right? Now we know the median household income is actually less than $75,000 a year. Jason was kind of wording that a little differently than how I hear it? Like he's speaking about the median income being 75,000, and I thought it was the median household income. All the numbers I'm seeing is saying the median household income is $75,000 a year in America right now, right? So I don't know what how Jason Black is reading this, but yeah, right. So I agree with Jason on this point also. Jason is correct. Ladies, prepare for the same type of injuries and a shorter life expectancy, right? While you try to achieve this elite life without a man, right? Because the men around you in your mind aren't good enough. And if you can't have the elite man, once again, by your own words, ladies, you're not going to settle because everything other than upper middle class and above is settling, right? Well, right? So while you work super hard, prepare for the same type of injuries as men and prepare for the life expectancy, right? Y'all give Mr. Z 1 second. And we're back. But yeah, so I agree with Jason. Dear ladies, prepare for the injuries that are similar to what the men have because of work and because of stress. Prepared for the and Mr. Z said it. Haven't we spoken about this over the past few years about women and antidepressant pills and how it's increasing? Well, ladies, prepare for this, right? We've spoken about this before, right? So this is something else Mr. Z has been saying for years. You know, that Morgan Stanley memo where they speak about the quote unquote she economy, and it practically sounded like they were salivating at the thought that 45%, 40 or some odd percent of women were going to be single between the years 2018 and 2030, which would make those women perfect consumers to advertise to and to extract money from. You can hear it in the memo, the tone of the memo. They're elated, they're salivating, they're drooling over the idea that all of these single women are going to be buying products, things to attempt to assuage and tamper down the loneliness, right? Thank you, Jake. And Leon did say that you women will work until you die, right? So y'all already know Mr. Z, the final boss for Mr. Z isn't women writ large minus white women. Yeah, you are. You're part of white men. Um, we already know, y'all know who Mr. Z think is the final boss because that's the final boss. But women are playing their part. They're playing their part, right? This is why I covered was his what was his name? Gary Marsh, the former what CFO of Disney, and him admitting we sold lifestyle to kids, primarily to girls. As I've said before, those girls are now women. They're younger Xers, they're millennials, they're older Gen Z, and they want a lifestyle. And they're going to work themselves to death. And most of them still won't get it. They're going to they are going to sidestep average men And I get where Jason Black essentially said who wants to be with average anyway. That's fine. As I said, Jason Black, you and other men in your similar position financially go lobby the U.S. government to make polygamy legal, so all these women could huddle up on men like you, right? So I want to be very clear. This is a culmination of things that I've covered. As a matter of fact, I'm going to link my own stream that I did a few months ago, maybe two-ish, maybe three-ish months ago now, where I covered Dr. Richard Reeve speaking to Ezra Klein, and he broke down the marriage numbers, the labor participation numbers to a certain extent, not as in depth as Jason did here, but the marriage numbers, who's getting married, who's staying, and I said it then, ladies, you're doing the bidding of elite white men, right? You're doing the bidding of elite white men, not even for your own benefit, right? Huh? Huh? And Jake says, so Z, if I think you meant to say if average isn't appreciated, who will hold up and fortify the American infrastructure? Exactly. And that's why the labor participation rate is slowly dropping off for men. As I said this morning to Miss KT, what's the incentive? That's what men are saying. That's what men are telling you. What is the incentive, right? What's the incentive? That's the question, right? Huh? Men who hold up the infrastructure and who women give the middle finger to, because those women said, if I can't be with elite, I don't want anything. Well, so women are being forced to purchase their own homes, huh? Have fun being on that mortgage for the next 30 years by yourself. And women are going to have to put down that down payment on that binge GLC, GLE, huh? On that X3, that X5 BMW truck, huh? If they really lucky, they make the type of money where they can buy the Range Rover. If they really got it like that, a G Wagon, huh? I need to start modifying when I say these things because I often mention the cars, forgetting that women aren't buying the cars like that no more. They're SUVs, right? That's their thing, right? So they're buying the BMW S6. I said S6, excuse me, X6, right? So, congratulations, you're a provider now, boo. With the wealth, of, excuse me, with a combined wealth of $5, or not combined, with individual wealth of $5 when we take your assets and your liabilities and add them up. Congratulations, you are a provider now, boo, and that is going to cost you, as Jason Black said, and I agree with. That's going to cost you your health, low key your wealth, high key, and your life. Hmm? Good point, Elder Blood. Good point. Right? Huh. So as I said before, working class men, working poor men. I said this to FD. I don't think he really understood it. We're not subsidizing these women. We're not subsidizing these women for them to give us the middle finger while we catch them drooling over elite men. No, no, no. Working class, working poor men are no longer subsidizing women who are giving you mass sex at best, or you're not even in a situationship, you just hoping and praying and wishing. Ain't no more friend zones, bruh. Right? So as women complain that men aren't approaching anymore, men aren't asking them out, men aren't helping, men aren't holding doors open. Yeah. For what? Oh, because it's just the right thing. For what? Once again, the young lady, the black woman, the young lady that said, so because we don't want to do this for you and we don't want to do that and we won't do this, so you're not going to help us, you're not going to know. We will not. Go end up in a same-sex loving relationship or go get in line with the other women that's waiting for Jason Black. Huh? We will not. No, ladies, we will not. And by the way, once again, you don't need all men to move and think like this. You just need a critical mass. You just need enough. Is that what you're telling us? Because we won't do this and this and that, you're not going to do this and this and that? Yes, that's what we're saying. Yes, yes, absolutely. As I said before, it doesn't even need to be all men. It doesn't need to be all black men. It just needs to be enough. I said it. I've been saying it. We've been saying it. The black manosphere, particularly the black manosphere. Y'all hear what Charles say to Bane? Not Bane, from Batman, right? Is it what I don't have to kill you, but I don't have to save you either? Something along those lines, right? Number one, but number two, indifference. Dear black women, black men aren't going to necessarily harm you. They're not going to be preying on you. They're not going to be physically abusive. That's not what you're going to get from most black men, or even a critical mass, or right. That's not what you're going to get. You're going to get indifference, right? The same indifference that Miss KT was complaining about on that news segment I covered this morning. Shout out to Gender Warlord. Sitting on their thumbs. See, when we were talking about herbivore men in Japan, we spoke about let it rot in China, laying flat in China. We're speaking about the South Koreans and the South Korean men. And I've been saying this can come to America, and it will come to America. Well, voila, right? Huh. This is the cost. Congratulations, you're a provider now, boo. Congratulations, you're a provider now, boo. Ouch. 70, excuse me, 77% of women in America, really 78% because it was 77.8. So rounding up, 78% of women in America work. What happened to all of that? Well, black women always told to settle. White women aren't told to settle. Well, almost 80% of them are working. What happened? Just like black women are supposedly outpacing black men in purchasing homes, so are white women. Uh-oh. Apparently the white guys are like, yeah, y'all can do that over there by yourself too over there. Huh? Huh. Ishmael says the gravity of it, right? I honestly don't think black women understand the social shift that's occurring, the gravity of it. Yes, we actually it skipped over here. Yeah, they don't. We're the ones doing that type of research, and we're the ones covering that stuff, not them. I've been listening to Chrissy for years, listening to Yanni for years. I don't suggest it, it's not good for your health. They don't cover this type of stuff, man. Yanni do a little blink and you'll miss it comment, or she might say something here one or two times, but she don't really appreciate the gravity, and she think these women could do it themselves because she's making six figures off of YouTube. No, Yanni, these women are going to starve. They're going to work themselves to death, attempting to keep up with you in your lifestyle. They're going to have the same attitude as you. They're going to miss the opportunity to be with the good black man, and they're going to work themselves to death trying to keep up with you using your type of rhetoric. What's the incentive? If you think I'm trying to shame you, Yanni, that's because I am. Huh? Chrissy over here mocking 50-50 relationships, forgetting that black men still out earn black women. The women that have the same mindset as you, but that's not earning as much as you, which is like almost all black women. Once again, they're going to work themselves to death trying to afford that nice luxury apartment that you keep on bragging about. Huh? Y'all be talking real reckless. Those black women who think they're better than blue collar black men, shout out to you, Bowser. They are going to work themselves to death listening to your quasi feminist elitist language. Huh? Princella over here talking about how men aren't good people and whatever. Yeah, that sound nice. Women don't earn as much as men. That includes in the black community. So those two same-sex loving black women, yep. I can't even say they're gonna work themselves to death. They're probably, Mr. Z, you're gonna say it. One of them might delete the other one. Oops, I said it. I said it. Huh? Ishmael, I didn't even know about this. So you could put another one on the list. We had Taraji, right? Now we have Tiffany Haddish, and Ishmael says Tiffany Haddish on TMZ crying, talking about y'all don't understand. I have no husband. I'm doing it by myself, weeping and ish. You know, the reason why I speak the way I do about these particular content creators is because I'm a content creator also. Yes, my channel is tiny. Thank y'all for being subscribed, by the way. And I understand the responsibility I have, and I don't even have 5,000 subscribers. We're talking about people with tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of subscribers. And they speak so recklessly. I don't advocate for brothers to be single over here. Well, if the women ain't doing it this way, huh? I don't keep on downing black women in comparison to white, Latina, or Asian women, huh? See, that's real women over there doing the Paris Milan. You see, those are real women over there, unlike black American women, because it's dumb. It's just out and out dumb. And Earth said, maybe it's time to do good all by yourself. Earth, I've said it, right? You keep on saying I could do bad all by myself. Yeah, what about when you're good though? At least financially good. I don't know about your health. Huh? What about when you're financially good? Well, when you're financially good, you sound like Chrissy and Yanni. You sound like, what's the incentive? You create movements called decenter men because you don't want to be the only single lonely chick out here. You sound like Chrissy lamenting being in your luxury apartment by your goddamn self. That's what happens when you're financially good and you're a woman, and now you're still on the hamster wheel. We all are, but the chase for the money, well, you're kind of there, and it's lonely. Ooh, Z. Your pride won't let you admit it. Wrong word, Z. Your ego won't let you admit it, but it's lonely. And this is the link. Thank you, Ishmael. That's the link to Tiffany Haddish. Right. And Ishmael says the Jewish community found it offensive. Tiffany talking about she's going to find a husband. Black women, you're not white women. You think these women are gonna let you take their men? You know, Tiffany Haddish speaking like that. First of all, let's state the obvious. She's making herself prey to to one of those type of small hat dudes. Okay, right? The small hat dude that knows exactly what to say, that will prey on you, and then you're gonna be out here looking like the sister that with the shea butter company, right? You're already volatile anyway. All right, Tiffany Haddish, right? That's number one. Number two, the broadcasting is so cringe, right? Number two. Number three, maybe Tiffany Haddish doesn't really appreciate the race element. And so many of these black celebrities, right? Like because they got a couple of dollars and because she might get some white peen here and there, right? She doesn't really appreciate like these non-black people don't mess with black people like that. That includes the small hats. Maybe because you're in Hollywood and the small hats are always smiling in your face, maybe you don't realize how racist they are. Maybe you need to go ask the Ethiopian small hats. Ishmael, you never heard that before? I knew about it since she deleted herself. And everybody know that he drove her to do that. But, allegedly, right? And let me read this because KW Don want me to live reckless. KW Don says, excuse me, Jason Black is the same one who said he was retired from doing documentaries and is now doing another goofy documentary, 8 a.m. Shaking my damn head. Look. Um, so I think Jason Black has his good points, right? But I think the elitism and the way he frames things sometimes, forget being offensive. I think for someone as intelligent as him, you have to wonder if he plays out what he's saying all the way to its logical conclusion, right? That's the question. Do you play out what you're saying to its logical conclusion, right? Because like we can speak about our ancestors, the women, um, you know, not breeding with lower tier men, fine, right? And how this is how you continue a society or a species improving generation after generation, right? Lower tier men shouldn't be able to pass on their genes. They shouldn't have offspring. Okay, fine. And then you remember that also what you speak about on your channels is race and anti-blackness. And what does that mean when black men are starved out of resources? So when you start the clock at 1492, shoot, you don't even got to go that far. When you start the clock at 1980 and you think of where black men are and the obstacles in black men's way, not 200 years ago, but like now, right? Are you sure you still want to go with what you're saying? Because if you want to go with what you're saying, then that would explain why women, including women of color, including black women, are all on the white peen chase, right? That's what I'm saying, PK. And PK says, sounds like a whole lot of eugenics to me, right? Just saying. And Leon says, Z, you could ask my brown small hat white. Well, excuse me, I read that wrong. Z, you could ask brown small hats like my wife and her daddy. They are racist, aka y'all come from slaves. I'm saying, right? Huh. So once again, thank you for the super chat, KW Don. But yeah, you know, yeah, the documentary thing. I remember him saying he was retired from that. I remember, right? And even with that, I'm not gonna fault him too much. I mean, like we watch Jay-Z do it. We watch a whole lot of people do this when they retire and then they start. We watch Mayweather do this. They retire and then they still go back into the game. We watch people do this, right? People say this and do this all the time, right? I won't fault him for that. What I will say is, you know, a lot of the rhetoric that women use, they hear it from some men and they perverse it and then they hit other men upside the head with it. And so you might want to be mindful and careful on what you say and how you say it because your intended audience isn't the only ones that are listening, right? Sahel, that's funny. Sahel says, no, nobody truly retires. It's like quitting Twitter. Hysterical, right? And I like this comment. I am with says, and thank you for the super chat. I hate this whole average men deserve nothing rhetoric. It's fundamentally anti-community. These people have become as greedy and wayward as the corporations. Hey, remember, these are the same people that started parroting the marriage is a business type of rhetoric. These are the same people that look at European aristocrats and how they marry, or look at the Arabs and how they marry, and romanticize it and say that's what we're supposed to do. Okay, yeah, that's it. Huh? So let's not forget that these people have adopted practically wholeheartedly the dynamics that happen in other communities, and the elitism and the economic Darwinism, or the you know classism. Yeah, they love it, especially when they think they're on the top side of that, on the upper side of that, on the better side of that. That's why, once again, it's not just a Jason Black thing. Look at the women. What did Yanni tell you? What's the incentive? I want to be a kept woman of leisure. I can keep myself. I can do well for myself financially. Now I need a man to provide me with even more. Right? B. Simone, what did she say? A 9 to 5 man won't understand me. I'm a millionaire. Okay, well, right. And Stuart, you're right. And Stuart says, "Oh, okay, okay, all right. Technically, the breeding out of lesser men is true logically and has been practiced throughout societies for centuries. And this is true, right? We understand. Was it like only 60% of men, or is it 40% of men's genes have passed on throughout the millennia, right? Throughout history. Indigo's here finally. Indigo. I was hoping you. Excuse me. I was hoping you popped up tonight, Indigo, because I was like, "What? What's the point of me using his quote if he's not even here to hear it, right?" And for those of you, the title is something that Indigo Flow says often, which is "Congratulations, use a provider now, boo," right? And and it speaks to exactly what we're speaking about tonight, which is lowering labor participation rate of men, slowly lowering, and increasing labor participation rate for women, right? So yeah. So once again, thank you for the super chat, Indigo. Thank you for the super chat, right? So yeah, I'm with it. It definitely is. It I'm careful. How am I saying this? I am careful. Even look at the way I address the women, right? I agree with the Raj report. You have to be held accountable for what you believe in. With that, I understand that though the air that we breathe promotes elitism and classism, and I understand that, right? And to a certain extent, class is just it's going to happen organically anyway in your society, right? But there was a time in America, even in America, oh my God, Z, you're about to say this. Even in America, there was a time where the people on top knew it was their responsibility to take care the people further down below them, to create systems and structures where they didn't hoard all the wealth. They were going to hoard some of the wealth, a lot of it, maybe even most of it, but they weren't going to tell you, hey, here's a quarter crumb, make something happen with it. Yes, even in America, right? But what has happened is because the air we breathe is a perverse version of capitalism, which is already not necessarily kind anyway. Then you have the corporations and their lobbying, right? Then you have, you know, money is speech, marriage is a business, that type of rhetoric permeating your society, right? So, right, there's no such thing as an ugly billionaire, right? Huh. So, that type of rhetoric, that's that's how you get to the and whether and this is the thing, very few people will overtly say what you just said, I'm Wolf, right? Average men deserve nothing. I don't know who actually has the testicular or the ovarian fortitude to actually say that. But effectively, you let them speak long enough, and yeah, that's where we get. That's where we get, right? And yes, even in the black community, speaking real reckless, right? Compassionate, you see what I'm saying? And compassionate says all roads always eventually lead back to neoliberalism. LOL. Telling you. Marketplace valuation of everything. Well, when you have a marketplace valuation of marriage, relationship, childbearing, well, and the people that constructed that marketplace and manipulate how that marketplace moves, although they like to say it's the invisible hand, yawn, the invisible hand of the market, and the market is doing its own thing. Stop, you white elite, stop, yawn, insulting people's intelligence. Oh, I don't know what happened to the market. The president said this one thing that we don't like. Oops, I mean, that the market didn't like, and the market started falling. Right? So when the white folks are manipulating the market and you have a market based valuation of everything, then what does that mean for your black ass? Huh? Who said anything about oil? Who? You cooking? Shout out to Dave Chappelle. No, oil. Huh? You know, there's a song from Immortal Technique. It's my favorite song from Immortal Technique, and it's called 1%. It's literally called the 1%. Right? And like it says what is like 3 4 minute long song, and it says everything you need to know. Jake, thank you. I almost forgot. And Jake says the GameStop fiasco showed us they control the strings. Wait a minute. And remember, those weren't even poor people. They just weren't part of the same class as the elites. The elites are like, yeah, we're trying to bury GameStop, and these largely middle class, maybe even a handful of upper middle class people and a handful of working class people that had their stocks just in the right place. We're like, no, we're going to bid this up. And the people that bid it down said, yeah, we're going to call up the big guns. Shut all of this down. We're losing money because the people that shouldn't be here are actually influencing this thing in the way that we don't want it to. Shut it down. And they literally shut it down. Right? I like this statement. And Stewart says, some of us have to, excuse me, some of us do have to learn that there can also be excellence in being average. Right? Yes. Jake said, I could have made more money off that stock. You know? And what do we see? We see, I mean, like, to me, there is no better example right now than Blackwater. I'm sorry, not Blackwater. Wrong BlackRock, not Blackwater, BlackRock. I mean, I could make an argument for Blackwater too, if you give me long enough, right? If you give me long enough, I can make an argument for Blackwater too, because Eric Prince and that whole recolonizing Africa type of statement he made, yeah, I could probably, yeah, I could make an argument for Blackwater too, but BlackRock, right? And what is BlackRock doing? BlackRock said, hey, these home prices are a bit expensive. We're going to make it even more expensive by buying up these homes, fixing them up, and not putting them back on the market at a higher price, obviously, so that we can, make a profit. No, we're going to keep them off the market, and we're going to rent them out. And it's somewhere in my community tab. The Canadian investor that he was being interviewed, and the lady pretty much said it outright, and he repeated it. So people can't afford the American dream, so you're renting them out the American dream. And he said yes, straight face. Actually, not even straight face. Low key with a smirk on his face, right? Huh. So in that environment, see how Mr. G just spoke about all of that. You see what I just did there? How many of these women, the content creators themselves, I'm not even going to talk about their subscribers yet, because their subscribers don't know anything about what's going on in the world right now. How many of the content creators could have did that? Bowser, maybe. Juicy, probably. T-Noir, probably. Khadijah, some of them, yes. Chrissy, believe it or not, I think so. Yanni, Paris, huh? Cynthia G before she got kicked off, huh? Huh. It's this environment that they're turning around and telling us that we're dusty, we're losers, we're misogynistic, futuristic, misogynistic, futurist, texturist, homophobic, transphobic, I said colorist already, losers, dusties. And then this happens, right? Now your labor participation is 78%, right? Well, and increasing, right? And ICIP3 was going, excuse me, ICIP13. Did I say that right? Yes. Right. Says, and thank you for the super chat. Says, Sakpa says Z, not Boule. And I clocked over 3,300 hours last year as a UPS feeder driver. Let these boss God damn, you gonna make me say it. Let these boss boozers sweat this out. I'm not gonna boozer mean the B word, y'all, in Creole. Right? He said, let these boss bees sweat this out. Booze, man, it sounds so much funnier in Creole. See, the B word is very serious in English, rightfully so, and it's serious in Creole too. But I just find it to be a funny word in Creole. It's just maybe because like when I really realized what it meant in Creole as a kid, I just always found it funny. It's funny, right? It literally means the exact same thing. It's still an insult. It's still an insult, particularly directed towards women. Yes, but it's just funny, right? Ishmael says, Z, I blame you for Teen War popping up on my recommendations. Saw a video and you would have thought I got hit with collections notice. Hysterical, right? And Indigo says, the repository of all evil, basically. Shout out to Dr. Tommy Curry, right? Yeah. Good point. And PK says, I mean, if we continue at this pace, we can forget about ever becoming a interplanetary species anytime soon, or maybe even existing for much longer. I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't want to be hyperbolic. I don't know about that. I think they just want to um cut us off. What do they what the it's a very dark term I wanted to use and it just slipped me. Cull off the herd, right? And reproduce their great genes. This is where Elon Musk pops up, right? And they'll go space traveling, them and a whole bunch of androids and robots and whatnot, and you know, yeah, you know, this could also be part of a doomer stream, actually, right? And once again, shout out to ICIP 13. It has been a little while, bro. It's been a little while. It's hysterical, right? Oh, he said Boss Boo says that's hysterical. Oh man, he got around he got around the YouTube police and the B word police who just saying it in a different language. Hysterical. And once again, thank you for the super chat, Indigo Flow. And Mama, I made it. Indigo said, "Oh, I made it." Right? Yeah. And rest in peace. Take off. When I said Mama, I made it, I thought about that, brother. Now I'm gonna have to go down Amigos rabbit hole a little bit later on tonight, maybe possibly. All right. So let's go through a couple of these points again. Right. So for those of you that didn't hear earlier, labor participation for men has decreased 4.4% over the past 50 years to right now 89%, while it has increased for women over the past 50 years from 58% to essentially 78%, which is 77.8. I'm just going to round up to 78%, right? We already know that the median household income is $75,000 a year, right? I agree with Jason Black when he said, ladies prepare for the same type of injuries as men and a shorter life expectancy as you work yourself to death for the nice things, right? I already said it before. I do see this as elite white men playing a very dangerous class warfare game using women as the buffer class, right? And I think you can see this expressly exhibited with the memo about the she economy from Morgan Stanley, when they spoke of about 40 some odd, I think it was 45%, but let's say 40 some odd percent of women being single. So that just means not married between 2018 and 2030. And from the tone of the memo, that's hysterical, Joes. Oh, I'm using it. Put it in the book. That's hysterical. I ain't even gonna say it out loud. Oh, but I'm definitely gonna use it. I'm that yeah. Hysterical. Right. You made me lose my train of thought, Joes. That was funny. That was funny. I was talking about Morgan Stanley. I remember. That was funny. Oh, that's funny. Right. Um, but yeah, so Morgan Stanley salivating over the thought that so many women are going to be single and that they're going to be extracting resources and money from these women. Right. Oh, okay. Credit goes to Black Uru. Okay, okay. Black Uru came up with it. Oh, that's funny. That is funny. Shout out to Black Uru. That's funny. Right. But yeah, so I do see this as the elites playing a very dangerous game. Right. I also see what Jason Black read to us. Um, I see this as, the when the feminists are telling you you don't need a man is not a plan, a man is a companion. Once again, shout out to Fannie Willis. And the level up women are telling you what's the incentive if the man is not well off financially. Shout out to Real Talk with Yanni. Well, this is the result, right? This is the result, right? And I am Whoopses, and thank you for the super chat. I wonder how proud Margaret Sanger would be of modern black women, abort half the race, alienate straight black men, and forfeit family formation if he's not rich. Well, on that note, all right, you guys, we're shutting it down because I think I'm Wolf said everything that needs to be said, and pretty much everything I summed up on my channel over the past couple years. All right, so on that note, exactly. I'm Wolf. Exact. I know it's I am Wolf. How should I pronounce it? I just say I am Wolf because it just rolls off the tongue better. It just sounds cool. Yeah, no, yes, exactly what you said. How proud would she be? I mean, it's still black women, so I don't know if she would be proud of them as an old racist white woman. But she would be glad they're doing her bidding for her in her ilk, right? She would be glad about that. But I don't know if she would be proud of black women, right? I mean, she was a eugenicist herself, so yeah, right? Huh? That part. And once again, thank you, Amwa, for the super chat. And Bruce on Wayne says, the funniest is not Boozan, but it's TC right? Yeah. You gotta tell me what that means, though. Because that one I don't know. Maybe I do? Do I? No. I'll put money you're gonna explain it, Bruce on Wayne, and then I'm gonna remember what it is. But no, not right now. Okay. I am WAF. Deal. Okay. All right. But yeah, so once again, shout out to Indigo Flow. Congratulations, use a provider now, boo. It really is. It really is. It really is. Congratulations, you're a provider now, boo. And if anybody, please, someone, because I want to link it in the description box for this. Whoever could find me that link of the young lady, y'all know who I'm talking about, browner skinned young lady who said, "Oh, because we won't do this and we won't do that and we won't do this, so you're not gonna do this for us, black men." Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're saying? And I'm saying yes, yes, that is what we're saying, dear young lady, whoever you are. You're kind of cute. Yes, that's what we're saying. That's exactly what we're saying. How do you think this works? Right? And, and I'm wow, sis. She'd be proud of her. She'll be proud of Cynthia G and her followers, though. Once again, I don't know about proud, but she'd definitely be happy about it. Once again, they're doing her bidding. Definitely, right? Definitely. Hey, these people are weird, right? Craig from Friday. Yes, yes, exactly, right? Oh no, this it's crazy because you I don't know how these people think this works. I don't know how women think this works. I don't know how black women think this work. How do y'all think this work? Right? Ugh. Ugh. I ain't even gonna read it out loud, but it's funny. Ugh. That's funny. I know. So this okay. This one I actually didn't know. Okay, so Bruce Owen, you got me on this one. I didn't actually know this. Yeah, it's funny. That's funny, man. When you find out like the etymology or like the root of certain words and insults in other languages, it is hysterical sometimes, right? Thank you, Ishmael. And this is the point. This is the point. Ishmael summed it up all right here, right? Women, you will pay freedom cost, independence cost. This is what you signed up for. That's it. Yes. And I'm glad that um and let me read this first actually before I actually go into that tangent. And PK says, I guess there are in support of recreating feudalism. And I'm glad that uh, Sarge Willie Pete, I don't know why I want to say Professor Black Truth. Sarge Willie Pete continues to say to white folks, you do know your default for your people is feudalism. Y'all default to that. And if you allow for it, that's what you're going to create. And what is Yanis Varoufakis going around telling us? What is Yanis Varoufakis, that's the former Greek finance minister, going around saying? Techno-feudalism. Shout out to Rogish. But both of us have spoken about that. Techno-feudalism. And a Greek person would know. Huh? Bruce Unwin said, let the women have it. Exactly. Right? I don't know if it's going to be the coming dark age, though. I think I agree with the nameless protagonist where the technology would continue to advance. It's going to look like magic to the untrained eye, to the people that don't know. It's going to look like magic. But in a weird way, maybe culturally, we'll be in a dark age, right? Compassionate think about this, but haven't they already? And Compassionate says, can't possibly think they can turn a bunch of liberals with guns into serfs, though. I mean, if you think about it, and once again, Bruce Wayne, thank you for the super chat. Uh, Ooh, I like this. And Bruce Wayne says capitalism of vulture minds. Right? Yeah. Yep. Right? I mean, when you think of um Bill Gates versus Steve Jobs, what do you think? When you think of Jeff Bezos versus Elon Musk, what do you think? Right? What do you think? I mean, literally, Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk were literally supposed to fight. Did they fight? Right? So literally, uh, Ishmael said Greece economy has been crap for some time now. They should know for real. The Germans said we're tired of carrying them on our backs. Right? Just my speculation. This is tinfoil hat. Germany just found a new way to bring about the Reich, and they did what Hitler wanted to do without all the bloodshed. Right? Think about it. What are the countries that are bolstering the European Union right now? France and Germany. There you go. Mainly Germany. Well, they they did what the small mustache man wanted to do without a single gunfire. We run Europe, player. Right. And there you go. So, um, on that note, everyone, I want to cover this because, ladies, you're a provider now, boo. So I want to cover this tonight to speak about that. And be very clear. If women, that includes black women, aren't going to engage in a all-out offensive on mainly white elites, white elite men, if they're not going to work with working class, middle class, working poor, poor men to fight against the elite so that you can actually be living for something instead of dying for it, well, you get what you get. So work until you die so you can afford that GLC Benz and that condo or home that you can barely afford. Right? So yeah. Dell said, they didn't fight, but Zuck is on some samurai-ish right now. He is literally in Japan forging forging katanas right now. It's crazy. I guess you can do that when you're like worth what, over $100 billion. I guess you can do that, right? Yeah. And I don't care what nobody says. Zuck is. I don't even judge dudes, but right. But I mean, if you have it like that, uh, if you have it like that, why not? Right? The people that you need to be in position to run your company are doing so. So why not trade and work out? I mean, think about look at Wiz Khalifa. Everybody knew the scrawny, tall Wiz Khalifa, and then next time you saw Wiz, he was cut up, six pack, right? One of those slim Diesel brothers. Why? MMA training. That's what Mark Zuckerberg is doing. I don't blame these guys. There's a couple of these guys that they're goofy. I wouldn't want to run up on them, right? Marlon Wayans, I wouldn't want to run up on him. Nick Cannon wouldn't want to run up on him neither. That's what you're supposed to do. If you have the time, especially as a man, a black man in America, you have the resources. Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. If Mark Zuckerberg can do it, why wouldn't you? If you have the time, if you have the time and the resources, and you can pay the trainers and you can pay the professionals to teach you how to fight and train your body, yeah, definitely, definitely, right? Okay, new video, Dr. T in reaction. Okay, chaos. I got you. I got you. Thank you. And Stewart says, an all-out offenses, excuse me, an all-out offensive against whiteness of the mind from both genders of black persons. I agree. We gotta leave that one highlighted, right? You know, actually, actually, Stewart, I got two comments. I gotta read these. And Waf says, um, Z, feel like Jason Black's get rich or die trying rhetoric for men is problematic. He has similar elitist views like Bowser. Let them, working class black men, eat cake rhetoric. I agree. I can't say anything different. I agree. As a matter of fact, I did a stream where I said, who was I responding to? And I was like, what's different between what you're saying and what some of the sisters be saying over there on that side? And let me remind y'all, when MBK Williams was going on her You Negroes is Mediocre tour, if you go back to the stream that Jason Black did when he covered it, he didn't say he really disagreed with her. He didn't like her framing and her tone. I'm just saying, right? So I can't say Jason Black is not consistent. He is, but what does that what does that consistency entail? Ah, it ain't looking good, right? And Compassionate says, I think it's scarier than some thought out diabolical plan. I think it's unchecked elite economic Darwinism. I agree. America's like a passed out drunk girl at a frat party, hysterical. I agree with you. Uh, I agree with you, but don't forget what that Australian developer said openly on a panel. So this wasn't even some leaked memo or tape or something like that. So I think you're right. You're largely right, but like make a little bit of space for like for some it is diabolical. Not only that, think of when Anand Girgadas was going around interviewing um elites for his book Winner Takes All, and like he heard some of that type of rhetoric, right? So I agree, Compassionate, but there is some, diabolical planning going on. It may not be for all. I do think that some of this is just this running off of its own momentum. So I agree with you on that. Right? It is unchecked elite economic Darwinism. I agree with you on that. But there are diabolical muhaha people in the background that like, and they get caught saying it, or sometimes they just outright say it, like the Australian developer that just straight up said like, we need to starve these people out, we need to raise unemployment and just like choke them out, which is crazy. He said that outright. Yeah, Lithium, exactly. Lithium says, I do it if I break 150K. I'm doing MMA training. Yep. Right. Yeah. So I'm going to pause right here, y'all. Ooh, goddamn IMF. And IMF says, it begs the question then, Can you be pro-black and ish on the middle class, i.e., black men? No, to answer your question, but I don't think that's how they would frame it. They would frame it that they're attempting to encourage you to be more than just middle class and be average, right? Number one. Number two, I would guess that they would say that they're not actually ishing on you. You're seeing it that way. That's how you see it. Mind you, I don't disagree with you, by the way. I'm just saying I suspect that's not how they would frame it, right? Yeah, PK. What was the greatest trick the devil ever pulled? And it was trying to convince you that he didn't exist. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, as Ismail says, they would question your perception and mindset. Yep, yep, yep. Look, y'all gotta keep me Mr. Z here all day. All right, so we will pause right here. Truly, y'all have a great, great, great rest of your night. Go check out other Black Manosphere content, other non-Manosphere content. Dear women in general in the West, women in America, use a provider now, boo. And yeah, and I'm going to link my my other stream that I did um where I had Richard Reeve speaking with his interview with Ezra Klein about what this actually looks like. And I'll leave us with this. I do believe that all of us can achieve our own version of the Disney fairy tale ending. You can possibly achieve that. But when many of us have the same type of Disney fairy tale ending, only so many of us are going to be able to actually achieve that. And then what does that mean for everyone else? And what does that mean for you individually? Women, black women, right? And what does that mean when your Disney fairy tale ending is exactly that? Written, constructed, and presented to you by old racist white man. And on that note, y'all, I will pause right here truly again. And y'all have a great rest of y'all night. Y'all go check out other Black Manosphere content, other non-Manosphere content. Today is a Tuesday, so I'm pretty sure that Art New Style is streaming. Shout out to Art New Style. Y'all go check out Art New Style, right? PK, I ain't even gonna read it out loud. You gotta keep me here forever. And yeah, so y'all go check out other Black damn PK. Y'all go check out other Black Manosphere content, other non-Manosphere content. For the love of God, and remember, black women, this is what you wanted. Women, this is what you wanted. And congratulations. Use a provider now, boo. All right, y'all. Y'all have a great rest of y'all night. Mr. Z out.